Hi there, and welcome back to another very short video. I just wanted to show you a cool resource, and that is LeetCode.io. LeetCode.io, and it's very nice because it gives you this roadmap that you can use to work through a series of curated coding problems. And the nice thing is these problems are grouped by technique. So you'll probably start somewhere at the very top where you start to go through all of these problems that exist here. LeetCode has really nice example solutions that you can look at. There's also always a video to every solution, which is super useful. And it also has an external link directly to LeetCode. So what I do usually is I use this just for tracking, and then I code the problem on LeetCode. And yeah, it's just really nice, and it covers all of the must-do problems for each of these categories. So for the 2-pointer problems, you can see the valid palindrome one is in here. 2-sum, how to compute that when the input array is sorted, for example. 3-sum, which is also another famous problem. Container with water is a really nice one, and the trapping rainwater is also a really cool one. Yeah, and it's just fun, you know. You just walk your way through that, and I highly recommend it as a to-do list or something else. This is a nasty problem, by the way. This is one of the median of 2 sorted arrays is one of the ones on LeetCode with the lowest acceptance rate. Yeah, I still have to wrap my head around this because this uses a binary search approach with a crossover trick. It's crazy, but I probably just have to spend some time to understand it myself well. I really like tree problems. This is one where I just did a video on it. I really like this this tool. You can use it for free, of course. You know, LeetCode, well-known YouTuber, also offers its own courses, etc., which is really cool as an extra value. By the way, if you think about paying for LeetCode courses, it's not a bad idea, because what that does for you is it kind of structures your learning very efficiently. And you can just grind LeetCode like crazy if you wanted to, but it's going to take more time. Myself, I took a very long time and solving hundreds and hundreds of problems before. Maybe I can show you this real quick. So if we open an external link to one of the problems, we go to the LeetCode page. Best time to buy and sell stock. I made a video on this as well. But if you look at, where can I look at my stats, my progress? You will think that I'm crazy. You know, at one point, I think I did over 500 days, consecutive days on LeetCode. It's a little while ago. When was that? I think 2021 or something. Day, month. Let me see. Come on, UI, monthly. Not 2025. I think 2021, 22. That's when I started to go ham on LeetCode practice, and I did a lot of problems. And then, yeah, a year ago, I kind of stopped. And now I'm trying to get back into it. But the point is that, you know, even with all of these submissions, and, you know, that's how many problems I completed. And it was really, I was doing this for fun, you know, and became like a sport. How fast can I solve easy problems, etc., etc. If you're preparing for interviews, you don't have to solve that many problems. You know, the number of problems that you need to solve is probably in the range like maybe 50 easy, 200 medium, maybe 100 hard problems, but no more than 200 in each category. That's kind of what people would say is the sweet spot for your practice. And a resource like this one can really help you to focus on the right type of problems. And something that I haven't touched on before is that you should, for every problem that you do, you should create like some notes on, you know, what trick was used to solve that problem. For example, implementing prefix try, that should be an easy one. That's super easy to do. Design an add and search word data structure. If you know how a try works, a prefix try, well, a prefix tree is a trie, T-R-I-E. And, you know, these problems become much easier to solve when you know like a basic structure, or with stacks, for example. You know, there are reoccurring patterns in these coding problems. And the best way to see them, if you take notes on what was the trick to solve this problem optimally, or even non-optimally, right? Generating parentheses. Yeah, if you hear that, you should immediately think stack, because you need to know or remember what you created before you create the next parentheses, etc., etc. Valid parentheses as well, you know, a min stack, all these kind of things. So yes, if you want to focus your study, use one of these lists, either the LeetCode 75, which I think this might be based on, or the, no, what is it called? The blind 75, I'm sorry, blind 75, and there's a blind 150. Oh yeah, this is the 150 list. It contains, the blind 75 was created by, I believe, I could be mistaken, but I believe by somebody who worked at big tech, somebody from Google or something, which was a collection of prototypical examples of coding problems that have principles that reoccur in these coding problems for interviews at those companies. And then it was extended later to 150 problems. So, and I also believe, I'm not sure actually, but I think this order, this tree structure, is also kind of sorted in, you know, how, well, in concept that you need to understand or should understand before you process to the next type of problem. So, for example, trees and tries. If you understand trees, understanding prefix trees or tries is going to be easy. Heap and priority queues, they are a different beast than trees, but they, especially priority queues, you know, they are, I would say, more advanced than a tree as a data structure. That's probably why that is here. Intervals and greedy are their own categories. Advanced graph. So yeah, so the deeper you go in this tree, I would say, the more advanced or obscure the solutions become. For example, math and geometry problems, you rarely run into them in an interview, I think. I could be mistaken though. Rotate an image, okay, that's easy. Spiral matrix, okay, that's doable. Set matrix zeros, happy number +1. Fast exponentiation, multiple strings, detect squares. Yeah, so these are, I wouldn't categorize them as math and geometry questions. You know, we had this problem, largest circumference for a triangle given n points or whatever. That's what I would consider a math problem, where you have to count the number of points on a straight line in a cloud of points, maybe. But there are also problems that really require you to know, like n over k, how do you compute that efficiently, etc., etc. There was one video that I made recently on that. Or bit manipulation, that can be really arcane, some kinds, these types of problems. So if you dig into those, it's probably good to just be able to, you know, do some of these basic ones. Number of 1 bits, that's going to be int, counting bits, reversing bits, missing number. Probably using an XOR, sum of 2 integers, so you probably have to implement binary addition by hand. Reversing an integer, probably similar. So yeah, actually, those are not bad problems, but if you get like a problem that you can actually only solve with bit manipulation in an effective way, that's probably not a really good question for an interview. And I think I've said it before, if you go to LeetCode, and if you want to find problems to work on, for interview practice anyways, the way to do that is, well, you click on algorithms first, because unless you go into an SQL or an SRE interview or whatever. And so you sort them by acceptance rate. That's the first thing you do. And you know, you pick your difficulty. If you're a beginner, I'm just gonna do to do as well. If you're a beginner, just set easy to easy difficulty. And the higher the acceptance rate is, the easier these problems are, the less gotchas they have, right? And then you just go down the list, you know, get a feel for it, implement some solutions. And then when you feel ready, you switch that to medium and you do the same thing. And so that way you can control the difficulty of the problems that you're running into, because frankly, a lot of problem on LeetCode, they have weird, how do you say, a weird category for their difficulty. So it's either easy, medium, or hard, but some easy problems are actually medium, unless you see the trick right away. And some medium problems are frankly super easy. Same goes for hard problems. Some of them I think are easy. And you will find that too, you know, as you practice more and more. So always go by acceptance rate. When you find things are too easy for you, either scroll down the list a little bit until you run into problems that have like a gotcha or a trick that you have to know to solve them. Because if they do, they're less likely to be asked in an interview, unless it's like a common trick, you know, like a technique, like backtracking technique or something. And yeah, that's what I would recommend. So always increase your difficulty to be just slightly above your comfort level. That's when you learn the most. And keep a limit on the number of problems that you solve to prepare for an interview. And another tip. So hard problems, they are more effective to prepare you for an interview simply because they contain typically more than one technique to solve them, right? So maybe there's a 2-pointer technique with backtracking that you have to use or something like that. So you get more, I guess, feedback and practice with them, but they probably also involve more time to finish them, which is why they are a little bit more effective in preparing you for interviews. I think Interviewing.io, they wrote an article on how well LeetCode performance correlates with interview performance. And they kind of crunched the numbers of the people who use their platform and who voluntarily reported, you know, how well they did in the interview, right? If they got an offer or not. I think they also check candidates' LeetCode LinkedIn profile to see if they actually got the job. And yeah, and they also say, you know, beyond 200 problems per category, you're running into diminishing returns. And for me, since I'm ramping up interview practice right now, it's a good thing that I'm going to do this again. And I think that also explains why I have so many submissions. You know, here, I've done this 16 times. Can you believe it? Spread out over time, over the years. And yeah. So, yeah. So I hope that was insightful. LeetCode.io/roadmap. That's where you need to go. You can log in with your GitHub account or whatever. It's free. It's really nice. I recommend it. So if you don't know which problems to practice, pick those. They're going to help you. That's it.